Welcome back. Figures out today show food prices in December were 1.5% higher than a year ago, partly driven by a 50% rise in the price of butter. As Zane Small reports, even the government acknowledges the cost of living crisis isn't over.
Government Minister Tama Potaka attending a ceremony in Gisborne today to mark the start of earthworks for 48 new rent-capped homes at the Te Mano o Hamo development in partnership with Ngāti Porou.
Housing affordability and housing generally is in a real crisis mode in New Zealand, and particularly with affordable rentals.
It's one of 12 projects supported by government funding of $82 million to develop a total of 198 affordable rentals.
Well, I think we all can see that the cost of living crisis is making it really hard for whānau to afford life.
Indeed, official figures out today show food prices in December were 1.5% higher than a year ago.
There's been a lot of talk about increasing olive oil prices, which we saw come through in this data, but we have also seen price increases in blocks of butter and 2-litre bottles of milk.
The cost of a 500-gram block of butter has increased by about 50% compared to a year ago, with an average price of $6.66. The same block of butter had an average price of $4.48 in December 2023. Though fruit and vegetable prices were down 8%.
That's because we were coming off some supply shortages during 2023 when there was some severe weather events.
The overall 1.5% rise in food prices coincides with a 2.2% increase in what suppliers charged foodstuffs supermarkets in December compared to a year ago. Though, as you can see, it's still nowhere near the heights of a few years ago when inflation peaked.
The most recent lift has been driven a bit more by an increase in particularly chilled food goods and more specifically dairy. Of course, we've seen much higher international dairy prices the last couple of months.
The cost of petrol was up 1.5% in December compared to the previous month, but compared to a year ago, it's down 4.1%.
We're in a much better place, but we're not completely without risk. There's still a few parts of the inflation game that are still putting some pressure on the economy.
And that explains why subsidised and rent-capped housing is still in demand.